I see Frameworks over there. Can you, oh, she's waving. Does that mean you can hear me? She's nodding and giving a thumbs up. Okay, can we hear you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Nice to
we
see
can hear
guys.
you. All
Happy New
right.
Year.
Is that what we're, oh, okay. Hey, are we ready to play? I can bang away and start this thing? Wait a minute, I gotta make sure that the agenda's right in front of me, saying, do this. And it's today's agenda. All right, let's call this party to order here. Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Okay. The Arts Commission is now in session. So the first thing we'll do is, she even got, Mikhail wrote some stuff that's in red. Am I supposed to read the red? Oh, okay. All right. So we'll do a roll call around here. Carla. Here. J.R. Russell, the chair, I'm here. Mary Himes, not here. Did we need to hear anything from her? Okay. Valerie. Here. Cynthia. Here. Tracy. Here. Therese. She's traveling. Okay. Student member, Reese. Ex officio, Chris. Okay. And then even says right here, as of this morning, they didn't have anything from a response from Mary. Annual, ding ding. Okay, I don't know what that means. Somebody's chiming in. Bobo's coming in. All right, my favorite name. I just love saying Bobo Kai. That is so cool. Hey, Bobo, how you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, then it says annual organizational items. Set meeting schedule, elect chair for 2025, elect vice chair, training certificate reminder. I missed all that stuff. I didn't see that on the agenda. I didn't pay attention to that at all.
That's okay. Mikhail Finkel, Executive Services Director. So this is something we put on the agenda now every year, gives the board an opportunity if they would like to make changes. Let me go back. First, confirming the meeting schedule, that you want to keep the meeting date and time the same as it is. If that's agreeable, then we'll go ahead and publish that calendar for the year. Okay. So the election of chair and vice chair, that just gives the board the opportunity, if they want to make changes, you can do it at this time. And that's at the pleasure of the board, whatever.
Please,
Can I ask a clarifying question? Can the student rep be one of those, chair or vice chair?
No.
No. Okay. Boy, I was just gonna second for Reese. Yeah. And what training certificate reminder is that?
I'm sorry?
What's the training certificate reminder?
The training certificate, so back at near the end of December, I sent out emails to any of those advisory board members across the city's boards that if they did not have their open meeting and records training completed and a certificate on file, though, if we didn't have one on file, they got an email to say, hey, please go ahead and complete this and send us a copy back so we can have it on file. If you've done it, your certificate is good for 4 years once you've done it. So if you didn't get an email, then I already have a certificate for you.
Okay.
So,
All right, so then we can move on to the approval of the agenda then, right? Oh, we got to do the election for the, okay.
Want to recognize me?
Yeah, Cynthia.
I might skip us to the first one, which is just to confirm that we're okay with our
Oh, I thought we
same.
had it.
Yeah.
Did we
You wanna
not? Okay,
raise-
that was,
You want to
okay.
raise your hand?
Okay.
Do you need motions for each of these, or can we just kind of like,
For this-
yeah, sounds good, we'll just
So for the meeting
maintain?
schedule,
or-
I saw the consensus, we're good for the same date, same time, so
Okay.
that's
I
good.
just want to make sure
Okay.
we didn't need
Yeah.
motions.
So
Too many-
unless, for the election of chair, unless you want to nominate someone else to be a chair, nominations can be made.
I nominate the same.
Son of a, I mean,
I second that.
well, I nominate the vice to be the same. Oh, vote on, okay.
I second that, as long as she has time.
All in favor of keeping it the way we've got it?
Thanks.
Okay. Now can we go
Now you
on?
can go on.
All right, approval of the agenda.
I'd like to just make one
Yep,
really
Tracy.
quick request. Those of us here are having a hard time seeing all of you because of the monitor. Is that necessary to be there? Okay, perfect.
Have that removed.
Okay, no worries. No, thank you.
Okay? Oh. Okay. And Mary is here. So moving on to the agenda, what I'd like to do is just move the way we did last month, is move the framework update to the end. So we can speed through or do whatever our business and then get the framework. And just everything else just get pushed up one. Got a second on that?
I second.
Okay. There we go. So that brings us up to the new 6A is Imagination Cove Children's. Oh, I got to go backwards. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. You want to invite, anybody want to do a new chair? You want to go back all the way back?
You've already voted and Mikkel's left.
Son of, all right. Approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented from December 12th, 2024.
I second.
All in favor? Okay, that passes. Yeah.
I hope there's not feedback. Reese, is this your first meeting with us?
No, this is
Okay,
my.
okay, just want to make sure. I must have missed your, the time before. I just was making sure. I just was curious.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. With that, we'll go to number 5, which is public comment. And I'm not aware of any public comments. Tim, is there anything? Phew. Okay, now we can go to the discussion items, which is the first thing on the docket would be the Imagination Cove Children's Museum art supplies. And in front of you, you have a nice, this kind of helps lead us in almost like with the framework discussion of like, how would you get something to come in, a piece of art to come in or something, a request to come in, and how will we deal with it? So Imagination Cove, our CEOs are here to talk to us, give us a little presentation on what Imagination Cove is and how they'd like to see if we could help them. So, ladies, I'll turn the floor over to you. And, oh yeah, go right up to that, you can both go towards that podium over there, and there's a microphone. And yeah, and announce to the city and the world, because now you're on TV, so you get to announce to the world who you guys are.
Hi, I'm Jalen Sybrant, and I'm Mala Suknanan. We submitted a quick little walkthrough video tour of the Imagination Cove because when this was presented last month, some of you didn't know who we were. So we did a quick walkthrough and have some photos of our art supply area for you.
We opened on 4th of July to the community. We're right downtown on Pioneer. And here's a look at our store.
We read like 40 pens a day.
This is our.
That's the craft area right there then, right?
Then we have home ec. The toddler center for food and grocery shopping, laundry. Family fun center, career dress up. Our billiard room is a transitional room. We did a neon glow party for New Year's Eve, so we dressed that up accordingly to what we're having. This is the Family Fun Center. There's sensory bins and games and educational cards, spelling, all sorts of fun things to play with. Now we're in our sensory room. It was really quick. Video was long. Oh, sorry. This is the corridor for the facilities, and we have some fun things and play around. Social structure, government, politics, and music center. And you come back out to the main floor. And these are some fun things that the kids do and some crafts that we put out. Slime time.
Very quick walkthrough of our building.
Yeah. The front half is a party supply retail store, and then we also have a balloon bar, would-be yard cards live there, and we are also in the back a full children's museum. Yeah.
And even for the crafts, we have all ages and all abilities. We have like graspers that you can put on your finger for those who can't hold a pencil yet to help train them the proper way. We have stamps that have the big, really fat handle on them for the younger kids, and then skinny paintbrushes for the older kids. So we have a wide variety, and we hope to grow with what we have to offer.
We have a little bit of origami, Legos as well, and stencils. Also for the artistic, that the artists like to draw, we have special pencils there too.
And I can vouch that I took my grandsons in there, and the nice thing about it is it's not just for like 4 to 6 year olds or 8-year-olds. It kind of goes on to the 8 and above too, where they can do stuff. And the fact that we went there on Thanksgiving and you had turkey things that the kids were coloring and got to walk away with, and then you had the same thing for Christmas, and then we went to the New Year's party and you had stuff there that they did crafts to prepare themselves for New Year. So I was impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for us?
So what are you looking for? It says right here for craft supplies.
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of things are you going to be looking for then?
We have an Amazon wish list, and we have a wide variety of things. We've got a lot of families that have requested paint. We haven't ventured into that adventure yet, but one day soon. We've got families that have requested like yarn art, crocheting, knitting, things like that.
Air clay, Play-Doh, like all sorts of hands-on learning things.
Yes.
So is this the only Imagination Cove, or is this like a military thing that's based in other communities?
Just us.
Just you two? Okay, that's awesome. I also see that it's a .org. Do you happen to be like a non-for-profit or getting other assistance or anything like that from the military or any other state assistance?
Not yet.
Okay.
We started as just 2 individuals who wanted to get this up and going quick. We got the keys April 17th, and our doors opened July 4th.
Sounds like a plan. It sounds like we need to start putting our tent up there for all the festivals, and we could be a starting point.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And we would love to collaborate. Like I said, in there it even says, like, if we do get sponsorship with you guys, we are happy to post something in the Craft Center that says we are proudly supported by the Oak Harbor Arts Commission. We would love to post things on Facebook and tag you guys in it, or even on the website. Like, we have lots of different options for you to stay
We're-
involved and collaborate.
And we're getting lots of visitors from all over the state and international. We have a guest book and they get to sign it and we see where people are from. So every week we're signing up new waivers and we're getting lots of foot traffic as well.
I have a goal, or a question about your goal. Sorry, a little reversal on my words there. So you just started, so you're probably just like, wow, okay, let's just land our initial, we're open and we've got supplies, and I can see that's what you're here for today. What are you thinking for what you want to do in, 5 years from now? Like, what are some of your long-term goals?
This year, we're actually hoping to go the nonprofit route, so that way we can stay a part of the community, because we are both active duty spouses. And so this is something we don't want to just end because we aren't here. We're starting here, the community is responding really well to us, and we want to stay. So hopefully we set up the pathway to make that happen. So in 5 years, I'd love to see us in a bigger building, because we
We're out of
thought
room already.
7,500 square feet was not going to do it, and before we even opened, we're like, okay, we have to take some stuff out, because we just have large dreams and goals, and we want to be bigger.
We're doing a seasonal rotation as well. We thought every quarterly we'll change things up. Just last weekend we installed a rock wall and redid some of the science exhibits. We went from learning about our insects to now learning about animals, and we have fossils and all kinds of cool things that we would change around periodically to keep it fresh.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Mary?
Is the 1,000 a one-time amount? Or what is, I mean, in the current, like, is that initially like 1,000 as you guys go through and find additional sponsorships or partners?
Honestly, we have no idea. That would be a great starting point. If it could be an ongoing support, that would be wonderful. But we are grateful for, even if it is just a one-time contribution, because that can still do wonders for us.
How many, because you have a membership,
Yes.
how many, memberships, and how many kids go through there a day or a weekend, or what are your numbers look like?
We have 49 members currently. That number has changed up and down a little bit because we are a military community, so we've seen people moving a lot. We have had, 14,486 guests as of 1 p.m. this afternoon since July that have come through our doors. Anyone who leaves the retail area has to have a waiver on file unless we're just giving them a tour. So that's almost 15,000 visitors, which is kind of amazing.
That's really awesome. We have had 80 parties already scheduled, and we've had, 50-something of those?
56 of them were last year.
56 of those last year, and we're scheduled into March. On an average low day, we're looking at about 240 guests on a low day. On a high Saturday, we've had 325 guests. So, and it really depends, like if school is out, like today, there were some daycare closures. We had a very busy morning, and parents do sit there with their kids, and they do different types of crafts and activities that we have out right now. So it really depends on the traffic, on what's going on and what's available. But I would say for 6-7 months being open, it's been awesome. Yeah, and we've gotten so much positive feedback.
Well, that was, read my mind. That was my next question. Like, what were some of the, maybe some of the more surprising feedback comments that you've gotten?
Surprising feedback, I giggle because people say we have really comfy couches. And they love, that was surprising to me because they love that it's spaced out to where you can still sit and lounge and have a moment and let your kids interact with our children, and we do offer complimentary beverages as well. We hear a lot about our cleanliness. We take great pride in how we clean our facility and the products that we use. So we hear a lot of positive remarks about our cleanliness and really just the environment. People come in there, and one of the most common phrases we hear once we take them through the craft doors is, "It keeps going."
Yes.
And then when we go to the back room, they all say, "There's more?" Like, it's funny, but yeah, we get some really nice comments. In fact, you can go to Google reviews and you can see that we are 5-star rating, and for all the comments, and a lot of customers post pictures as well of their perspective.
Thank you.
Mary?
What is the cost to,
Okay.
like, you have the membership, but then I'm thinking that everyone is not buying a membership.
Correct.
But, so what the cost for, like, just entering, and then also the cost for membership?
Sure. We offer a wide variety of options, just because we understand there are, lots going on. So initially, for a 2-hour play pass, it's $16, and that includes the entire space. You get all of it: craft room, sensory room, billiard room, everything. So $16 for your 2-hour play pass, and $8 per additional child. So if you come with a larger family, it's $16,888. We have all-day passes. We have some guests from several families from Langley that come up, and mom will drop dad and the kids off for an all-day pass for $35 for the first kid, half off for the second kid. She will do all her shopping, then come back and pick them up, and then go home. So we have all-day passes. Our memberships are $75 for your first kiddo and half off for each additional child. We do private parties as well as during business hour parties, and all that range from $150 per table. That includes the admission up to 10 children. And we can have a double table party or a private event. So we have multiple options. We also have punch passes. So a punch pass gives you 10 2-hour visits for the cost of 8. You can bring a friend if you have family visiting from out of town, or a cousin, a sibling, whoever. You can bring them in, and a punch pass works there too.
And we never charge for babies until they turn 1,
Yep.
and adults are always complimentary as well.
Yep.
And then I assume there's a military discount?
So actually, no. We
Yeah.
factored in the discount into the additional children being half off. for
Yeah,
everyone.
and being a big military town, and us also being active duty spouses, so that's why
Makes
we have a
sense.
bunch of
And the
options.
membership, so that's kind of like the big discount, because if you're going to come once a week or 4 times within the month, it's paid for itself, because you get to come in and out as many times as you want, and you're not stuck to that 2-hour pass.
Right. We also welcome our guests to bring in their outside foods, because if anyone has any specific allergies, as long as they consume it in the eating section. So, yeah, and then we have snacks as well, too. We try to cater. We did a community survey before we opened. We sent out a survey asking a bunch of questions, and we wanted to see what the community was looking for, and we incorporated a lot of their answers into our design and build.
I think
Yeah.
almost 95% of what people wanted, we were able to incorporate. Some things just weren't
So
realistic.
a little bit of
but-
something for, like, a little bit of everything for somebody. Yeah. Adults have fun too. We custom built our own giant light bright,
And ball pit.
and ball pit. So we have this amazing light bright, unique things to the island that's, nowhere else here. So we custom built things, and 9,840 balls in our 10 by 10 ball pit. So adults have fun playing as well.
So my question with Brian, with $1,000 could be out of our discretionary funds then, right?
Yeah, you have 10,000 right now allocated for discretionary miscellaneous.
And if we did something like this, we could say that this isn't precedent setting? Is that some word that we could use? Like, we're not trying to set a precedent here that, I mean, we've looked at this, and for this particular thing, we could say yes, but the next somebody else might come in and we could say no to it. That's in our purview or bounds.
It is. You'll have to have that conversation with whoever comes in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And if we were to contribute and also continue with an opportunity to be partnership to say supported by the Arts Commission, because this is also that piece where we're penetrating the community at its level and meeting the community where it's at. especially the kids, but then also their parents continuing that kind of duck thing, but now in a real solid way, where people can actually see, well, answering that question, what does the Arts Commission do? And then, this is another way to do that in this environment. I think that when you're asking a question about precedents, I feel that the criteria, you've set the bar really high as far as organizationally and purpose and mission and professionalism. I think those are some things that we would really be looking at if we would be doing anything. And so I'm just very impressed
Thank you.
with the way that you guys have just set everything up and then been able to just take that off. It also goes back to the part with council about the Arts Commission supporting community and economic development. And then tying in with the Angel and the drawing in of tourism. So we're still staying on the same track. So then we're able to probably create something, if there is going to be a criteria, then we're able to really set that tying into these things. So I'm just wanted to make that statement.
Cynthia.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
It's really a cool niche in our town, and it filled a really huge physical space that looks fantastic. My thought about the one-time request at this point would be the way to go, but I would also like to recognize that our own Parks and Rec department is also developing children's activities and art-related classes, if you would, that, and so does the library. I mean, I'm not calling, I love seeing the collaboration of all of these like-minded entities. So my suggestion would be a one-time award at this point, but also to award our Parks and Rec the same amount for children's sessions. And then as our plan is more developed and we get into that strategic planning, to take a broader look as to what other entities are doing so we can octopus our arms out a little bit and recognize all of those promoting art.
Jared, I'll just speak to that real quick, that you guys have already approved and built into the budget support for arts programming at the city's recreation programs. $15,000. All of your other partnership allocations are for special events. With the exception, if I can find it here. Let's see. Exception of the school district for 5,000. And WIAC for 1,000. But I think that's also for a special event, isn't it?
Cynthia.
One other follow-up question. Just trying to quickly think about funding sources, and not being a nonprofit limits you as a profitable business, but it doesn't limit the Arts Commission. And I know just from my own investigation, like Crayola Crayons gives out a lot of funds to communities. Do we get anything like that at the Parks and Rec level from any of these larger companies that give supplies?
Sorry, Valerie, turn on your mic. What was that?
Well, I was saying like box top for kids,
I
like
don't
the
know
things
what
that
that
you would flip the things off of and
Yeah.
donate it to the school. The school would get money for supplies and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, speaking more to a direct request with Crayola will be my example,
Well,
because I've been
Crayola
to
was
their website.
kind of the same entity a little bit, but no worries.
Do we have any more discussion on this? Mary, yeah, okay, Chris.
Thank you. I want to start with just thank you. what you're doing is providing a much-needed service to our community, which is why every one of us are sitting up here. We sit up here because we want to make sure our community is a better place, and you're doing it just exactly that.
Thank you.
Excited for the growth of where to go. Many of us sitting up here, I know at least 2 or 3 of us have been on a handful of nonprofits and been a part of them. And so if there's anything we can do to kind of assist or help guide or just coach a little bit if you need it, feel free to reach out to me personally if you want. Or
Thank you. Thank
I'm sure others would be available too as well. Because we want you to be successful, and we know as active duty military, we may not get to keep you. So, but we want to make sure it stays successful if you're going to not be able to stay with it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love the one-time idea. I think that's a really good approach. And I would encourage you to keep developing and then come back and see if we can do more down the road. Because there's definitely avenues, and there's multiple areas of the city you can work with all at the same time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like we can put a motion out there. Any other comments from anybody?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
So the oharts.org website where you can upload art, is that something that we can have guests upload art to, or is it strictly at community events, or like, how does that work?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, Cynthia. Because I know, I've seen it too.
I don't think at this point you could link into the website, because what we're trying to do has not been finalized yet. So as far as manning it and all that, it still is being worked out. But the OH Arts is hashtag is for everyone. So
Okay.
I encourage you to hashtag away.
Will do. Nice.
We could get a flyer and put it in their, museum. So that's why it's present around art and stuff like that, or the QR code. Parents do that.
We have a community
We have a
wall.
lot.
Yep. We got an entire 17-foot community wall.
Okay, do I have a motion to grant $1,000 as a one-time, or am I making the motion? Yeah, well, then I move that we give the Imagination Cove Children's Museum $1,000, a one-time fund right now. Come back and talk to us later. Could be the start of something, a very nice partnership.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Okay,
Voting, though, I'm not voting.
you're voting? Okay.
As ex-CEO, I can't, because if it comes.
Okay. I almost feel like saying, talk to Michaela as you go out the door for figuring out how the money gets to you. Oh, talk to Brian as you go, okay.
Okay.
You got it.
So, ladies,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you for your
So,
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And please
Best
come
of
by and
luck.
see it in person. The video is really fast.
Can I just say that we probably can frame this in the video, how to make a presentation?
This is amazing.
Good point.
You know your business, like, oh, I don't know the number. It was great.
can't wait to do a magic show there. Okay, now we get to go on to the next one down is Bruiser the Elk collaboration with Skagit Valley.
Jasmine just sent an email about 15 minutes ago apologizing that her child care fell through and asked if she could be added to the next month's meeting.
If you're not in favor of supporting whatever we're doing with
With
Bruiser, then
Bruiser,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
A motion to move it to the next meeting.
Unless it's for jerky. All right, so, oh, come on, that's funny. All right, let's go to the next one down on there is Chalk Fest 2025. And I'm assuming that Cynthia, you can talk to that, or anybody can, yeah, what do we
Brian
know?
was going to check on some spending limits, but right now I know there's 52,000 between our 35 and 17 from LTAC on the table. Was there any spending limits uncovered?
So the limit is, oh, now I need to pull it back up. Hold on a second. I want to say from memory, it's 42,000, somewhere around there. I can find the exact amount here in a minute, but
So, just to refresh everybody's memory, if I may, JR, we had a goal of 70, and we were hoping for half from LTAC. We had approved 35. We've got 17 on the table there. I wasn't sure if I could ask the Arts Commission for the additional funding, or if we'd like to go to the promoter and talk to him about entering into contract for a total of 52. Brian, do you have any input on that?
we, anything is possible, but you would have to go to council for the request. Also, see if I can find this.
And while he's looking for that, how close where are we on, like, okay, we need to
Well-
make dates?
Right, well, I had already given a targeted date to the promoter, Terry Morgan, for the weekend before the summer concert series was launched in Windjammer Park. So the artwork would be present for the month of August and hopefully in through Labor Day weekend. His comments about the dollar amount, when I told him what we had secured, it would have a direct effect on how many international artists or artists were invited in because of the cost, and suggested maybe working with hotels and things in town to try to get discounted rates or in-kind donations from them for the event, but that would be within the details that we work out with his contract. I don't have an opinion either way.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Thanks. You know, I'm wondering, Cynthia, since it's been a little bit of a struggle to get the full 70K, maybe it is okay to go with a smaller event, our first time out, and get the public's like wow behind it. Like, wow, let's have more of that, and then we might be able to expand upon that.
Yep.
So Brian, may I suggest that we meet with Terry just to hash through some of the questions that you had about details and see what that would incorporate?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to meet with them. I will note on here that the city had earmarked 55.5 thousand for the windmills. So I think the request is doable, but like I said, we'll require council approval.
So if we meet with Terry and get more details to present to the Arts Commission, and at that point we feel that it requires more funding, maybe we can take a pulse then and decide if it's worth bringing to council. Would that be a good next step for us?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear how scalable the event is,
Right.
and you know, where are the costs directly related to bringing in the artists and paying for the
Okay.
artists, or are there other expenses, and maybe there's things that we can do in-house or otherwise to reduce that cost of the event overall.
Okay.
But
I'd
that'll
be
take
hap-
some collaboration.
I'd be happy to initiate scheduling that meeting with the three of us, maybe?
So am I reading it right that if you meet with and we've come out with a reduced amount, we're all ahead. We can proceed, go.
Well, I think it'd be nice to see what the reduced amount brings versus the full amount and let
and-
us really hash through the details other than me just giving you a general.
But if it's not in what the funds we have right now, because we've got funds
Can't do
right
it.
now that we can do it, we can do this much. And if he says, I can give it, I agree to that much, I can give you this.
But if we were to come up with the full amount, this is what you
And-
would get.
and
And
that's-
we actually have
Step two would be,
details.
if, yes, you can have what's behind door number one, but if we want to go door number two and you want to go big, then we have to go to council.
Correct.
So we would have to be prepared the next time after you're done talking is like, okay, the best thing is to go to council.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That we had gotten 17,000 from LTAC, is that right?
Yes.
So with the 35, then we're at
52?
40.
Is that right?
52, yes.
We're 18
I
short.
even wrote it down.
Maths
Yeah.
are-
Do we have a timeline of when he needs to have a contract in place and everything in order to do either event, for
Yes.
one, right? Because I think that drives on how quick or how,
Sure.
right?
So
Because we want to
I-
get it to council quick, sooner than
Absolutely.
later.
So-
Get us while we're still happy in the new year.
Right, unofficially, I've been keeping him abreast of what's been approved, so he's aware of it, so he's got some feelers out. Obviously, the sooner the better for airfares and all the costs and things, but he also has that date penciled in his calendar too for it.
Just don't want to last minute. We want
Yeah.
to make sure you guys have it.
Because it'd be nice if like next month we know we've got it, or guess what? Next month, we're taking it to council.
Early February
Or, yeah.
February.
Okay.
Or obviously.
Go ahead, Tracy.
One more question, Cynthia, remind me, what was the plan for promotion of the event?
That's within the details of the contract. I think I had a sample given at one of our planning commissions. I'll email it to Brian to get out to everybody to look at.
I'd also say that there's probably a pretty good opportunity with an event like this to partner with either, the Chamber or Main Street and maybe make up that difference through one of those organizations that already, try to budget and fund and do sponsorships for special events.
And I did notice Chalk Fest in Redmond, one of the main sponsors was People's Bank too, so we can talk to him about that.
Okay, let's move on to the sad one. Item E, Commissioner vacancy, Mary Himes, effective 3/31/25.
I would like to make a motion that any resignation from Mary has to be done in poem form.
I'll second that.
Since you can't make a
That is
motion and I
second.
can't
I
second,
third
I'll
that.
second it.
There was once a girl named Mary.
G-rated, please, Mary.
No, well, I did have consideration, and so I did push it back to March to make space. There are already people in community who are ready to step in and take this spot and participate and continue to support. From JR's email, I was mandated to continue to provide feedback and support, even though not in a part of a commissioner, but this was the first civic group that I joined back in 2021 right in the pandemic, and it's been amazing to work with everyone here, and actually I think strategically, because you only get a couple of times, stepping back now doesn't preclude me from coming back later, taking my cues from Carla Friend. So that it's good timing, but also leaves the door open for more later. So I think that it's just giving more opportunity along the way for other people to participate. I think that our community is growing and people are coming more willing to come out and wanting to participate. And there are newer, younger, or broader voices that can be heard and opinions and thoughts. So I think that this is a good time for me to step back and do 10 other things.
Well, the thing, because the Art Commission, okay, this is just this group here, but we've already said, you know, with the art plan, you're part of one of the appendixes now, as far as, you know, pieces of art, you know, somebody that and we'll get to that with framework, but you're part of the commission, your little circle, so we're not gonna, you're not running away from us. Unless it's your birthday. If it's your birthday today, then you're allowed to do anything you want, because you
This is actually perfect timing, but, and with that, what you're saying, again, when I started the Arts Commission, I was very much just kind of creeping into the realm of speaking my poetry out loud, and that has changed significantly. And so within the last year and a half, becoming a poet on Whidbey, and now part of the reason is also being the poet laureate of Whidbey Institute and creating content for that. So these things continue to grow. So being a person to be able to participate and support, especially advocate, I want to say cross-community efforts through art, which was my initial initiative to join the Arts Commission in the first place, to eliminate the boundaries that says, you know, I'm on the south end, I'm on the north end, and I'm in the middle. This is Whidbey Island. And so I think that, again, every year in the last 3 to 4 years, those boundaries get, the wall gets lower and lower. And I want to continue to be a part of that in the art community and the whole Whidbey community as well, to eliminate those lines of separating ourselves from our initiatives and goals to support each other in community.
And it is your birthday, right? You're celebrating your birthday with us?
Today is my 60th, 60 where? I don't know, but 60th birthday today. Thank you. Thank you.
I hear the 61st year is the hardest.
It's okay, but I'm gonna work on this one right now.
As one of my friends who had actually turned 78 yesterday, a magician friend, he said, no longer in my obituary will it have to read untimely death.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay. Well, it goes without saying, thank you. We'll see you around the campus.
Absolutely.
So what I meant to say on the agendas was that we do the subcommittee updates and the park and rec updates after, and we go straight to framework.
Yes.
That sound like a good thing?
I figured that was the intent.
That was the
I think
intent.
that's a good way to go.
And you know, when I dropped my pen and it rolled underneath the desk, and I found Robert's Rules of Order. The book was underneath the desk, way out in the front here. So obviously, this is pretty important. Okay. Framework. Leslie, Bobo. Hello. Did anybody else need a water? Reese, you need a water? You sure? You're just saying that. I'm okay. Here, press your button. I want to hear you talk.
No, that's so weird.
Hello.
Good.
Oh, this is weird.
You there, Leslie? I see your, oh, there we go. You're unmuted. We're not hearing you yet, though. We're still not hearing you. Hey, Bobo, can you unmute and talk? I just want to make sure we're...
Test, test.
Okay, we hear you all right.
Okay.
Still not getting anything from Leslie yet. Oh. I think she got dropped. She's back on with another.
Sorry about that.
There we
It
go.
was going fine till I punched unmute. Okay. Hi, you guys. I know we're on for an update. Mostly our update is we got you a draft last month sometime, and we're looking forward to working with you to turn that into the final. So very much hoping you got a chance to look at it and think about it and consider what kind of changes you'd like to see so that it works for you.
Leslie, it's JR. I did look through it, and my biggest thing, I think I mentioned it to Bobo last time. To me, when I go to the appendices, it has all these nice matrices and project worksheets, and I'm hoping that these would be available, that they would be PDF, that would be fillable, and we don't have to print them off and then write it in. That's item number one. And item number two, which is almost more important, is the sample call for art. It says background, and then it turns around and says application, and then it just has one little paragraph, says a one-page letter, two-page resume, professional references, portfolio, images, audio, boom. But there's no link or there's no form that standardizes it. And then here we have Imagination Cove. They came in with a nice letter that, you know, with the project description, and it's all typed out. And if there was something in there, how does somebody else submit that where it could be downloaded, printed off, and it all of a sudden it gets recorded?
Bob, I'm going to let you handle that on the formatting of it. I don't see why we can't do that quite easily.
Yeah, so once we if the process works with you, once we finalize them, it's very easy. We turn it over to a viewable Word document that use the city's style guide or any marketing kind of requirement that you guys created for the city. We can make our document the forms that are consistent with that, and that you can put it on your website, and people can download it from there and print it and fill it out. And it can also be a PDF version that has the fieldable tab, and people fill it out from a PDF, whichever format that works better for you guys.
Thanks, JR. So the process, Brian, we were going to try to meet, and I know it was right as the holidays were in there, for our subcommittee to go through this with a comb to present to this full, saying, yes, it's ready to go to council. Once we get to that point, it'll be up to you, it'll be up to council to adopt it. Hopefully they will. And then it would be up to you and your team to figure out how it's going to integrate with the city's website and the city system, and who's going to manage these documents as they come in.
Yeah, Leslie, do you want to talk about timeline from here?
Basically, we're waiting for input from you guys, and then we'll carry on with what you want us to finish up to get it final and approved and into your, your city system.
So we have one more edit draft round, and then we should have finalized after that. Well,
correct.
We'll have one more edit draft. The committee will go through it, provide any final feedback, and then we'll have a final document that we'll go through and have the commission approve for adoption and recommend to council for adoption. And then we'll have a presentation to council after that, presenting the art plan.
To committee.
Framework will help with that, with presenting that. We'll go through it and ask for their adoption of that plan.
Okay, so, and just to reiterate, the art plan committee was myself, Carla, and Tracy. So we'll have to find a date, because it was just as needed, there was no set time.
Yep, correct.
And then going forward, Leslie, once we get back to you, the committee's saying, we are so happy with what we've done, here you go, and you deliver the final, what kind of turnaround would you need for that? I'm just thinking about the council's meetings and workshops going forward.
Right. Well, assuming that it's not an enormous redo, we should be able to make those in, a couple of weeks. So it depends a little bit on how much input we get back, but we'll turn those around quickly.
JR, could I added, and maybe Leslie, you could just walk us through it. I know we didn't get too much into detail with the appendix, but that was definitely one area with appendix. Let's see, I think it's 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
That I really wanted to get commission's thoughts on. That covers project selection and implementation, grading, and our art protocols, and like sample call for art. And that was a big driver for us going towards an art plan. I wanted to make sure that you all had your thoughts and feedback on what that looked like, and making sure that those criteria make sense to you, and see if there's anything that you wanted added into that.
Yeah, if it would help, when you guys meet, we'd be happy to zoom in and just walk through it with you. Maybe after you give it a good look, we could do that, if that would be helpful.
But I would also encourage the rest of the commission to send any feedback or thoughts, look through those, especially those 3 sections of the appendix.
And that, to me, was like the living part of the document. The appendix would be, we're going to be updating this and coming through, because the first thing I said, sample call for art, but it's art and not for the arts. And we just had an example with somebody come in with a request to us that was not a physical piece of art. It was something to deal with the arts. And now I can think of another one, like the Whidbey Playhouse. If they have something where they're going to do a community thing and they wanted new microphones or something, and they've looked around it's the performing arts. You see where I'm going? We've got art, but not all the arts.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That is basically artist commissioning. So requests from people is a different thing. It's true. The one that's in the appendix is if you guys are looking for someone to, if you're commissioning a piece. So the other one is somebody coming to you and saying, we have a project, right? Which is what just happened.
Yeah, so that would fall under appendix 2.
That's the same thing really with like Chalkfest, as an event. If somebody else were to come up with a call for arts.
That's exactly right. And those are project candidates. So I think the hope is that in an annual meeting, you can outline your yearly work plan, and with kind of an overview of a 3-year horizon. So if you're thinking about the Chalk Fest, you just kind of went through this thing where maybe this year it's smaller, we're going to ramp it up. But you kind of have a plan that's based on those criteria for the year. So if somebody comes in and maybe wants a small request like the $1,000, you can look at your criteria and your yearly time frame and go, yes, we can fit this in and it meets the criteria. Or if it's a bigger thing, it's like, we might have to put you on next year's agenda. So that's really a different thing, a project, than commissioning an artist. So again, we can walk through this and take all the time that you need now, or in a separate meeting with the art plan group.
Okay, Chris.
Am I to understand we don't currently, there's no process placed out in the current rough draft for what we dealt with tonight. And we need that. Can that be put in before the final is what we're asking, right? That's the answer. But,
Well,
right?
no,
Not necessarily,
think-
or no?
I think that,
I'm just trying, sometimes we over-explain and I just want it a little more simplified.
yeah, I think that Appendix 2 project selection and implementation worksheet is what provides the criteria for evaluating
An ask.
an ask, right, for
Okay.
funding or support of a program or a venue or, would
'Cause
you
we
agree with
want-
that, Leslie, that?
That's correct, that's correct.
Okay.
So
it's
that's
in.
project selection.
there
So
was-
if someone came in and said they wanted to do a thing that you've got maybe almost too many of, like, let's say you've got in your yearly work plan 5 sculptures and someone comes in and wants to do a sculpture, you might say, we're trying to balance out the different project types in our workload. So maybe we'll look at that next year. So that's the project criteria. And, we could test some of these out if you want to just kind of, take a pretend year and think it through. But that's project criteria that you're choosing a set of projects to do. And you don't want to do it on the fly. You want to do it in a more thoughtful way. Commissioning an artist is a different thing. And I suppose if you were commissioning, say, a piece of music, it would be a similar thing to the commissioning an artist for a piece of public art. So that's really 2 different scenarios.
Cynthia?
So just to add a little bit to the conversation, Chris, we've never, or not that I'm aware of, really sat annually and planned out a year. This gives us the tools to do that, which would include all facets of what we want to interject into the community. I like your suggestion, maybe when we meet with the planning subcommittee, that we run through an example of what that workshop would look like, so we can bring it back to the whole team, Leslie. And
Yeah.
even if after the plan is adopted by council, we schedule that annual workshop just to get some ideas down on these documents that you've provided us for tools to get things kind of in line, and then set the goal for that annual retreat, if you would, in January or December, whenever it's right for budgeting and foresight of the next year.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, we're happy to help you figure out how to use the tools, because, it's not like somebody just gives you a hammer and you know how to be a carpenter. So, we'd be happy to help you do that. The other thing that I think you might think about, too, in terms of how you package this up for approvals, is that the appendices may not be things that you want City Council to have to weigh in on if you want to make some changes to, the formwork and stuff. So when you think about packaging that up, which pieces of or in the appendix, as it grows, the list of artworks that you have, I think you want to make sure that you're not requiring council approval on minor changes to things that are going to get changed.
And to kind of piggyback on what Chris was saying, to me, when I looked at Appendix 4, the sample call for art, that was, the other ones are worksheets and stuff that's fillable and it's visual, but this one is very subjective. So just, give us a resume, give us a picture, give us a one-pager, but it's not enough information to formalize it. To get, if it went through us, it could go straight up to council.
But I'm gonna just converse with you a minute. Oops, sorry, my pillow. I have Tara's pillow. I beg to differ, because the call to art for art would be us putting out a call for a specific piece of art that comes off of our annual calendar, so it would be specific.
And JR, I'll say, I understand what you're asking for, and I think it's really like you're looking for a grading evaluation form. It does list selection criteria here for a call for art. And we can use the same matrix that we use for evaluation of like requests for proposals and bids, and just build that out with these selection criteria that are listed here, and have a 5 points based off of, does it strengthen artistic quality of past works, or innovation and creativity of approach to past projects, things like that, for a total score that we can then quantify that grading, right?
Yeah, and those criteria may be somewhat different from one piece of work to another as well.
I'm just looking for, if I'm an artist and somebody wants, putting out a call for art, I can go to the website, there's the form that they're looking for, and their format, boom, 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 fill in these things and start typing in, and they want this, I'll attach it, and the whole thing comes up as a formatted package that can be dealt with and formalized and passed into the system.
I'm wondering if we can use the word template. I think we're looking for maybe this is great. This has all the content that is needed. It just needs to then be transformed into a template type of piece that can be on the website, that then can be used to
Build a fillable web
a
form,
fillable.
yeah.
Yeah, that's totally doable. So I think the next step is to get the committee together, the subcommittee, and take a look. If you want us to chime in on that with you, just let us know, I guess probably through Brian.
Yes, I guess the question is, will you have any changes or edits from the feedback of the last meeting before then, or are you going to wait until after that committee meeting?
I think I would just as soon wait. I think before we turn these into fillable documents, I think we just want to get the content right.
Okay, I will work with you guys to schedule that.
Thank you.
That's it? We got anything else? Anybody else? Got any framework ones? Should I,
Thank you.
Framework going once? Framework going twice? We still want to wave to Bobo. Actually, I was kind of hoping when we couldn't connect you that with Bobo, I would have seen your body running across in the background trying to get to a computer that worked or something like that. See, that's the view. I wanted to see Leslie like scurrying behind, like, oh,
Hey, Leslie,
Okay.
I guess I have one question. Anticipating that there's not going to be any substantial changes, would we be able to get a finalized draft for the next month's commission meeting, do you think? If we were able to schedule the committee meeting fairly soon?
Yeah, if you can get us comments, we'll turn them around.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and if there's a deadline you want us to hit, let us know.
So, if, let's see, if we meet on maybe the 13th of February, right? And the workshop would be, I guess we'll want to take this to a council workshop first before adoption.
I mean, if it's super put together and really ready to go and the presentation can be done in 10 minutes and the mayor is in agreement, I would think you could just bring it to council, but I would go through the mayor and see if he wants to workshop it first.
Yeah, I guess it's, how much is council going to want to mess with it? And
That's the
maybe
scary
ask for
part,
edits.
right? Probably more opportunity to mess with it at a workshop than there is at a council meeting. Doesn't mean we don't have time to mess with it. It just means there's more time. I'm being very clear, right? Like, And we'd rather not. I mean, less work for us, right? That's why we have commission.
Okay, we'll discuss at the committee meeting, how we want to take that to council after the commission has approved.
Brian, you need to use your mic. You're getting scolded. You got in trouble.
Sorry, can you hear me?
No, I don't know. Sabrina, can he hear you? Can you hear him? There you go.
I think this mic is, the volume's really low on it or something.
Luke. All right, Leslie, thank you. Framework, thank you. Bobo, ciao.
Okay, we look forward to your comments.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys.
So now we'll move to subcommittee updates. Do we have any subcommittee updates? I don't think so. Yeah, it's been the holidays. Yeah. Then we can go to Park and Rec Director updates.
All right, I just have two quick updates for you. One, we met with the Ren Fair people yesterday at the municipal shops, along with all the departments in the city to discuss the event and talk through solutions. We did a site visit of the old landfill fields that are above the municipal shops as a potential location. There is current concerns on whether we can have public activities there or not, just based off of its designation as a hazard level 2 site. So the landfill was closed back in the 80s, around 1990. They started having regulations for closure of landfills, but it was already done at that point. So it did not go through a lot of those closing requirements, just monitoring. So we are having discussions with Island County Public Health Department on the viability of being able to host an event there. If not, I'm unsure what the alternative is. The original ask was to host it at Fort Nugent Park. There's quite a few concerns about everything from traffic control, parking, damage to the fields, conflicts with programs that utilize the park for that week. So we are trying everything we can to work with them and find solutions to bring the event here. Again, very large event. We're looking at 8,000 to 10,000 people. I think it'd be a pretty neat opportunity for the city, but there's a lot of logistics to work through. So we continue to do that. Yes, Chris.
Do they need a lot of field space?
Yeah, they're looking
Really?
for about 15 to 17 acres.
What are the baseball fields at like Volunteer Park?
Yeah,
Not enough?
enough space.
Okay, I was just trying to get into my head, right?
Yeah.
So really, Fort Nugent's pushing it. It's not really big enough either.
Well, the lower fields,
soccer
including
fields.
the parking lots, are about 20 acres total. So it's just,
It's-
yeah, if you
yeah,
look at their
okay.
site map, that's just about the right size space that they're.
Are they open to being in multiple locations to spread it throughout the community?
I don't know. I know it is a pay to participate event. They
Gotcha.
can
Gotcha.
close it.
Okay.
They do have they have a tavern, so there's a beer garden and certain security
Awesome.
things they need to have.
Gotcha.
So Fort Nugent, Windjammer is a possibility. They have some concerns with wind. They have about 120 plus vendors with tents. So impact to tents is a big
What time of
consideration.
year is it though?
This will be the May 24th and 25th over the Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, that's a good weekend.
They have
And
about
that's hit and miss on weather too, so right, like that's, no wonder they're concerned about wind. To be honest, I'd be concerned about wind down there at that time of year, all times of year, but, We'd love to see it happen if there's a way. If there's anything I can do, please let me know.
We've given them suggestions, the airport, and they've had discussions with the airport owner, some of the school district properties. We even brought up possible naval properties. We really are trying to see if there's a solution there for them. The gal who runs it is in the Navy, and really would like to cater to naval families, and a lot of them have that weekend off.
We've checked, have they tried to check with the DOD, or have we tried to check with the Navy to see if they could potentially set up at Seaplane Base at the old RV station,
Yeah,
right? Like
we
the old
gave that
RVs?
suggestion yesterday at the meeting.
Okay,
so-
good. So we, of course, it's too short to know for sure. Okay. Yeah, we want them. That's 8,000 people in for a weekend is phenomenal for our economic growth. So.
Yeah, and there's people that come out of state for this event. Yeah.
Well, and kind of along those lines, is there any possible private property that can be used? Really?
All of it would be out in the county at that point, which is same with the airport, which was totally understandable. But that would, the liability would then fall on property owners, and I'm sure there's enough property space big enough. It's just whether or not an owner is willing to sacrifice it for that weekend.
If the fields up above the municipal shops end up being a no, yeah, we'll probably really do a hard look at any green space that might fit the event. So.
Yeah, it might be worth touching base with Commissioner or Councilmember Wiesner too,
That's a
to
good idea.
see about spaces and stuff. So.
Yeah. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that. And then the other item is on the January 21st council meeting, we'll be bringing ordinance 1934, which is gifting the Angel of Creativity statue. So this is the final formalized action that needs to happen to close out that project and the city officially accept the statue. We're asking for representatives from Sculptures Northwest to come and speak at that. I hadn't heard back from Therese yet, but hopefully they're fine with doing that. Barring that, we might want to have someone from the Arts Commission there to speak to it. Yes. Yeah. Where on the agenda? Ordinances and resolutions. Yeah.
That's it?
I have a question for you, Brian.
Yeah.
The Interpretive Center, you've mentioned in a few of our meetings that the idea, or when we spoke of the idea of bringing in art installations to the space, that there were things that needed to be tended to for us to do that, to invite the public in. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that so I have a better understanding? My mind is saying, but it's a public space already. So like, is it just making the facilities space more secure so it's not their work isn't interrupted?
Yeah, so one of the issues with the Interpretive Center was that it required staffing of it because there's two egresses out of there. One is the side door, and then the other one exits into the interior courtyard of the clean water facility, right? The proposal is to create a secondary entrance at the front of the building, which would exit into that cement plaza area, right? So we've allocated out funding out of the Windjammer Park funds to do architectural services to do that. It would secure that hallway that exits into the interior of the clean water facility, and then have that secondary egress, which is required by fire. That would allow us to be able to rent the space to the public
Yeah.
without having to worry about staffing, security, things like that. We can host public events there. We've done, art plan
Right.
and other kind of public open houses in the space. So we could do like an event style gallery, but if we want to just have it as a gallery, a self-serve gallery where the public can come in and view art pieces and whatnot, we need to have that setup done first.
So just to put a bug in the in your ear, if those front doors could Nana system open or open up onto the promenade for events would be absolutely golden.
There, if you go over there and you see how that wall is built, it actually it has kind of a very nice already set up to be able to put doors in. We're kind of limited on what we couldn't do there, but it's naturally already set up for that. We'll have to make some adjustments with the little stream. They don't utilize the stream anyway, just for water efficiency, but.
Okay, going around, member comments. Reese, we're gonna go right down the table. Go ahead. Reese, you got anything?
I have no comments. I'm okay.
Brilliantly said.
I know.
I teared up.
I'm sorry I missed the last meeting. I was sick and had sick kids, but I didn't know if there was an update to the totems on Regatta. I know the last meeting we were talking about placement and lighting, and did we talk about that last time? And I just missed it because it wasn't in the meeting minutes.
No, it was not on the last meeting.
No, the two places have been identified. So it's just about the installation now. And I think Brian reported that they were waiting for weather in spring.
Thank you. I was just curious. I live off Regatta, so I was waiting to see a sign go up.
Tracy.
Not at this time, thank you.
Cynthia.
I should just thank Mary Elizabeth for your term here. I know you're going to be here through March, but happy birthday and thank you for all you've contributed.
Carla. Chris.
Yes, happy birthday, Mary. You're awesome, and she'll always be here with us. Reese, we had met. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to see you being a part of the process. Yeah, getting out of here before 7 would be great.
Mary.
We don't have to have a party today, but it is my birthday. But thank you. And
This copy of Robert's Rules of Orders.
Oh, another copy. I have one.
And this gavel.
Motion to adjourn?
No, I'll let you do that. We'll let you bang the gavel on, but I do have, for me, the first thing, Chris, I've got one. I don't know where this falls, but the Hasty Lake Christmas lights, I mean, that is like an event in itself, and they do it every year for free. And I was just wondering what, if like the mayor or somebody just, somebody high up was like, well done. If that was something that, no, I'm just saying because they do this all on their own. They lay that out. They don't want any money. They don't want anything. And if the mayor were to say, formally or something, somehow say, nice job.
So I recommend you make an appointment with the mayor and talk to him about it.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea. It might not come out of anything as it is in county, but I agree. I think
Okay.
some sort of recognition to a family that brings a lot of joy to others is worth a few words at minimum.
So for determination future agenda items, Bruiser stays on. We'll move that right to number 1. Chalk Fest will be number 2. Brian, I'll talk to you, but where are we on the contracts or whatever, the bids for the wrapping the electrical boxes? I just put that on for the agenda for next month.
Okay.
Those are 3 that I've got. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that we need to put on there? Because framework's going to be on there anyways, right? Okay. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to, wait. No, I'm going to pass the gavel down. No, it's not her last meeting. The heck with her. Okay.
Carla, didn't you second the?
Second the motion to adjourn.
Okay, ready, let's get out of here.
All in favor?
Oh, adjourn.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.